I seem to be missing my chat window. I don't know what happened to it. Is this it? Doesn't seem it. Chat identity. Chat settings. What is this? Oh boy. Everything is broken. And I don't know why, because nothing changed from yesterday. Turn that off. Turn that back on. I can reset docs, custom browser. See. Huh. Decisions. Not sure what to do about this. I had a multi-chat doc. Now it's gone missing. Top menu, re-enabling it, or relog via the stream elements menu. Oh, wait. Oh, they're separate docs. There we go. All right, we are back. I wonder... Can I increase this? Here we go. Font size. I don't know how big is too big. All right, I think that is good. What else do we got here? Is that all my options? Showtime. This is all my options. What do I got for filter? Okay, cool. All right, so that's up and running. So I want to make a quick audio check. Make sure I can be heard loud and clear. Loud and clear. Ooh, look at that big old text. That's a lot easier to read. Music isn't too loud, is it? I don't think so. I think we're good. Sweet. I think we are good. Let's check YouTube real quick. Audio test YouTube. YouTube, do you hear me loud and clear? I think so. I think we're good. Sweet. I think we are good. Let's check YouTube real quick. Audio test YouTube. YouTube. All right, YouTube is loud and clear. If not a little bit echoey. I will fix this room someday to not be so echoey. I think part of the problem is my room is kind of empty. All right. So yesterday, I went on a little exploration on how to manage data in Godot and tried out a couple of things, and I learned a couple of things. And I think I have a way forward for my game. And that is, I think I can use make use of Godot resource files, because I was kind of doing that already. I created this base type entity class, and it's going to have fields. And then I started to define some custom types with custom parameters by deriving from type entity. Well, it turns out Godot has this effectively built in using their T resource file, their text resource file, which I guess gets serialized or something. Not 100% sure on that. But we can redo this. So that's what I'm going to do. Now the question is, where do I even begin? I guess I'll start by opening the Godot editor. Oh, I forget the Godot editor shows up in my vertical stream. Not very well. Okay, let me... Alright, just for my vertical viewers, I want to fix this real quick. Oh, let's see. What do I... Oh, press the wrong button. Stand by. Stand by. Still kind of learning how to do this. The vertical editor for stream elements is it's not great. Not great at all. So I need to bring this in right there. Then I think I can shrink it down. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, I think that is just about good enough. Yep, all right, good enough. Cool. So then if I hit play, we see this window. I think, gosh, I think vertical stream's SOL, right? I don't know what else to do about this because this shows up as a completely different window. What I need to do is cover up my face so that you can see the application. Oh well, vertical stream's going to be treated like the the redhead stepchild for now until I learn how to become a better streamer or pay someone. All right, let's see here. Hey, Aaron, how's it going? I have figured out how I want to solve the problems I was trying to tackle yesterday, so I think I'm going to start implementing that. But it does mean I'm going to have to refactor some stuff. I also saw people configuring their Godot editor differently, because this is not playing nice with vertical editing. You're making more NPCs? Oh my gosh. I'm hoping to get there at some point. That's part of figuring out this data because I want to get it to a point where I can just easily create like a data object, drop it in, boom, I have a new NPC. Give it some behavior scripts, boom, done. Do I move? That makes life so much easier. That's awesome. What am I trying to do? I already forgot what I'm trying to do. All right, so I have this type entity script with these type stats, Typey nums. Okay, right. So the actual answer, as it turns out, is... Oh, I already got started. Did I already get started? Oh, I'm in the wrong project. It's like, I didn't think I had already done this. Let's try this again. Far Cry from the 100. Nice. Sounds like you're going to get back there, though. Sounds like you've got a pretty good plan of attack. Alright, so... Type entity. This is a pain. What's the best way to do this? I wonder... alright, whatever. Alright, so I have this type entity. It defines a scene that goes with it, weapon, its stats. So this defines our default player capability, our default NPCs. Gonna talk to my coder and says jobs and stats for the characters later. Oh boy, having a job system and adding different class types. That's something I want to do. I don't know about jobs, but I definitely like. I know this is like an aircraft game, but I still want to have different classes that specialize in different abilities. So like you have the bomber, a fighter that's highly maneuverable, maybe a stealth fighter, things like that. I think I want separate classes, but that's gonna be work. All right, so type entity. I need to create. I gotta figure out how I want to. How do I want to organize my project? Guess I'll just call it a resource. Create new folder. Resource, database, resources. So in here, I want a resource called missile. Create. Missile. All right, so the missile resource is a type entity. A database types entity. Oh, what did I do? Screwed something up. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't export anything. So I'm not going to initialize now. So type entity will define, let's see, it'll have a scene. Okay, so so that's not how this is going to work anymore. Oh my gosh. I'm already running into issues. What's type weapon? Type weapon has weapon stats. Okay. So I still have to figure out how I want to How to compose my static data. I didn't think about that. You know what? I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna get my answer immediately. I want to ask a question. In Godot, I want to use T resource files to define my static shareable data. I have the concept of an entity with stats, but I also have a concept of a weapon that might also have stats. How would I go about composing my scripts so that I can assign additional parameters to the weapon type? Does it have any idea what I'm trying to say? There are two clean patterns in Godot for this. Your existing code actually mixes both. Let me clarify them. Yeah, I know I'm mixing both. I want to clean that up, but I gotta know how to do it first. So we have a type weapon which has its own stats. Same fix for type stats, type entity. Pattern 1, composition, what you already have. Already have it? Type entity holds sub-resources as export fields. A weapon entity is just a type entity where type weapon is filled in. You configure everything in the T-res via the inspector. No subclass needed. Inheritance for weapon-specific extra fields. So, are you saying if my game is made up of all types of entities, I should have a master type entity with optional fields to define all of my entity types for the game? Is that what it said? Yes, essentially, and your type entity already models this. Yeah, but I started to do that, so is the AI just picking up what I'm dropping and telling me what I'm doing is good? Consider a subclass only when a new field or only... This will mean when I look up when I look up an entity type, I will need to check its optional field to make sure it is set before using it. Correct? I'm just curious what it'll say. See if it says that's okay or not. Yeah, so if I look up a weapon, I have to make sure that that type information exists on the entity type. Okay. Though given your strict typing rules, you'd still need an explicit if check. I think that's okay. Is that okay? That's probably okay. All right. Screw it. We're doing this live. All right, so composition it is ish. So I have the I call this types, but this is really type enums. Sure, Godot won't like that. All of this so I can launch a freaking weapon. I still haven't forgot that that was the original ticket I was working on. And it is nowhere close to being ready. Programming's so fun. Let's see here. So I have... So this is really going to be the root definition that all of my resource data will be defined with. So this is going to get pretty big, actually. So this is going to be like... create a folder. So we're going to have... What do you call your... How would you go about distinguishing everything in your game? Some, like between a tree, an NPC, an item you pick up on the ground, a weapon you shoot, etc. You're pretty much... I can go with entities as... Is it all just entities, technically? Yeah, but I want to be able to, like... I do want to separate that so it's a little easier to track down. So, for instance, we might have... Oh, typing isn't working. We might have items. Create new folder. We're going to have... I think I'll just call it entities. Entities. Items you would equip or use... Technically, that could be weapons, too. Is a weapon not an item? I'm making this too difficult. You know what? I'm stressing too much about organization when I have nothing to organize. Don't fall for that trap. Don't let your organizational OCD prevent you from making progress on getting something out the door. So we'll just keep it to entities. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna rename this to entities. Sometimes it helps to speak aloud so you know what you're talking about. Entities. All right, so now we have entities. So this will be our entity definitions. This will be the imagery associated with them. And then this will be the what do you call this? Like the declaration. So we have this type entity that is made up of type enums category. Yep, that looks good. And then we have type weapon, type stats. Is that all I have? Type scene, type weapon, type stats, type scene. Okay. So then the missile here, I guess technically... Oh, these need to get do these need to get exported? I guess not. That doesn't need exported. Oh, I don't have anything in here. How did I do that? Type scene. Oh, type scene is just a pack scene. I don't need a separate file. All right, so type entity contains a scene. This is getting verbose. I'm just going to name it scene. We already know we're a type. We're a type entity. Scene, weapons, stats. So a missile, we can kind of choose what's on it now. So a missile is going to have a category, and it's going to be a weapon air missile. It's going to have a scene, so let's load it. And that scene is a missile. It's going to be a weapon, so let's load this. And that weapon has... Ooh. That weapon has stats. That's not right. Where's it getting? Oh no, stats is its own thing. What is... The weapon doesn't have anything on it. It's gonna have stats. And the stats have nothing on it. Okay, so maybe I do have to export. Let's try it. At export kinetic. Okay, yep, I do have to export. Whoops. Oh, look at that. It's updating the editor as I go. That's funny. Okay. So type weapon. Okay. How does Godot do multi-line? Is it Control Shift? There it is. Type stats are exported. Type enums are just enum definitions. Okay. There we go. All right. So now I want to define the weapon, the missile, if you will, with this data. Ooh. How do I easily do that? I did read the downside to these T-Res files is their kind of their dependency on the editor to modify, so it makes it hard to do like search and replace. So I'm not sure. This is going to be one of those things where this might become a pain in the butt to deal with, and I might have to go with a different solution. But basically, I want damage to be 8, radius to be 30, type to be blast, range max to be 20,000, fuse to be 150, timeout to be 60. It's going to have stats 10, 8, 4, 2, 6, 0. Cool. We'll save that. All right, so now our missile type is defined. I think I still need this guy. Ooh, and this guy is not happy with anything I'm doing. Could not find types. Oh, right. This is type enums. Types not declared. Too many arguments for new. Right, because I'm not doing it this way anymore. All right, so now this will be what we load. Preload? So can I go back to making this a almost like a compile time operation? Is that a problem? Because if it's a compile time operation, it makes your executable bigger. So the issue is actually, let me define more. So there's an unknown, an air, and a fighter. So let me define those real quick. So we need to define an unknown. And this guy will represent a essentially a blank entity. Let's see here, database, types, entity. Hit OK. Category unknown. It's going to have a scene. Unknown. It's not going to have any weapons or stats. Okay. So then I also need a fighter. Okay. So the fighter is going to also be an entity. I guess now that I'm thinking about this, keep moving, keep making progress. So that's going to be a vehicle air fighter. It will have a scene associated with it, which is a fighter. It is not a weapon, so it's not going to be a weapon, or it's not going to have information for weapon. It will have fighter stats, which is somewhere. Where did I put that? I put that somewhere. Types. Or, oh, maybe I didn't get that far. I didn't get that far. Right, because it's not a fighter. It's like, it's my base enemy. I need to rename this. Rename this. Just a generic enemy. All right. So it's going to have stats, which are going to be like 8, 6, 4, 4, 2, and it's not going to be stealthy at all. Cool. All right. But it looks like a fighter. What else we got? What else we got? I'm also dealing with an air type. So that's basically like, hey. Oh no, that's not what that means. This isn't my entity registration. This is my scene registration for tracks, which is different. There's a visual representation for tracks. And then there's also, okay. Yeah, so I'm doing this wrong. I mean, this is right. Enemy missile, I think that's right. I also created a plasma weapon. So let me create that too. Create resource. Uh, plasma. It is a weapon, energy, plasma. I don't think I have a visual for it yet, do I? I don't think I do. What am I loading? An unknown? All right. We're gonna load an unknown. Plasma. 'Cause it's gonna have to be like some kind of energy beam. It's probably gonna be something that's animated. Let's see here. Scene load. So we'll do unknown for now. It is a weapon, So now we can give it information, which is damage is over 9,000. Radius is a 1. Its damage type is fire, I guess, for now. Range max is 100. Fuse range is 0. Timeout is 0. Okay. Okay, so that handles all of that. So I don't need this folder anymore. Okay. So I have this database types thingamabob, which really is... I guess I can still define entities. What does this look like as text? Oh, it uses auto-generated unique ID, so I can't just create this by hand. Crap. Okay, so I'll give this a shot. We'll create a resource. We'll call it air. It's going to be an entity type as well. And it is a vehicle air unknown. So we know it's in the air, we just don't know what it is yet. So that means we use our air visual. It's not going to have any weapons or stats because it's not completely defined. And then we also have that fighter again. Okay. So the enemy is something that is defined. The fighter is undefined. The fighter. I guess I could make it generic. Fighter, save. So this is a vehicle air fighter. We'll assign it a fighter visual. I'm not gonna... Yeah, I'm not gonna give it anything more than that right now. Okay. So now, in database types, I think this changes. Instead of doing this type entity.new or whatever, now I can just preload the resource file under entities. And I think I saw a video where, or there might be like a plugin or something we can get, or an add-on that will like automatically load all the entities in a folder. But I'm okay with writing this out for now. So all of this, I think this goes away. I think we can... Does this need to be dynamic anymore? I'm going to try and make this like a compile time thing. So we do const entities. Dictionary type enums dot category. Is it still a type entity? I think it's still a type entity. Except now it becomes type enums. The autocomplete isn't getting it right. Category, so we'll do this, except it's not type entity.new. It's going to be preload. Types, type entity unknown. I think I'm supposed to have these as lowercase names based on what Godot recommended and this autocomplete. It's all making me think I need to use lowercase. There we go. So now if I do this, maybe it'll finish. So vehicle air unknown. Yep. Fighter, missile, plasma. Is that everything? So if it finds the category, returns it. Otherwise, it's going to return the unknown type. And then get scene will either return null or the scene on the entity type. Which, I don't know if I need this function anymore. Get color. Yeah, I don't think I need this function anymore. Ooh, maybe I do, so that it automatically gives me... Or no, this will do it, right? So get entity, if it can't find, it's going to return unknown and give me the unknown type. Yeah, I don't need this anymore. And then this becomes... Oops. This goes away. So then when I return this, I can just call .scene and get the actual visual element that I need for the enumeration. And then this will become a massive... I can see this, depending on how many items and entities and whatever's in my game, this could become massive. And if it does, that might become time for like a JSON file or something like that to load during runtime, I'm thinking. All right, it's time to sit up and get serious. Okay, so I think this is all the types I have so far. Air, fighter. Oh, I technically have enemy, but now I'm wondering if that means I'm going to need to define additional types instead of just generic. So like right now, this is like vehicle, air, fighter. So now I wonder if I need like vehicle, air, fighter, enemy. So here is where I will start defining all the different bad guys in my game. You can imagine like the base enemy in a fantasy RPG being like a goblin. Well, that would be like what this is. What's the base enemy in my fantasy fighter RPG? It's the it's a drone, right? You know, that kind of thing. But we don't need that for now. This is just to help me get something started. Okay. So with all these changes, I need to make the rest of my application work again, because I've made a lot of changes. I'm going to go ahead and stage, not commit because it doesn't work yet, but I'm going to stage, and then we're going to go try and fix what we've done. Actually, you know what? I'm going to cheat. I've changed how I want to manage my data. I was using script files and inheritance. I am now using TRES files and preloading them in database types.gd. The rest of the project may need updated to support these changes. Can you ensure my Godot project will run successfully via what is it? Headless import via headless import and fix any errors. See what happens. One thing I've really enjoyed using the LLMs for is once you've got the architecture for how you're wanting to write your code and get all that figured out, you can kind of just use the LLMs to save you some typing. Like, you know exactly how you're going to write your code. It's just going to take time. Once you know how you want to write your code, you can just tell the LLM to go. And it'll write the code you would have written anyway. What gets tricky is when you don't know what you're doing, or you don't know exactly what you want, and you tell the LLM to go, and it goes, and it solves your problem, but now you've got like 30 plus files that were changed, and you have no idea how exactly it solved the problem. So all that time you saved from typing, you now have to go back through all the code to read and understand, if you so choose to do that. To each of their own, I suppose. It's really thinking about it. Oh, it found some of my compile errors for files I wasn't even touching. We'll see what it does for that. Whoops. All right, what do we got here? What did it do? Now I have a clear picture. Let me summarize what's broken and how to fix it. Issues found. Types class doesn't exist. It was renamed, replaced by type enums. Type entity.typestats in command fire weapon. The field on type entity is stats, not type stats. Database types.getScene doesn't exist. It calls, but only get entity and get color are defined. Should call get entity.scene. Yep, that's what I want. Let me read all the files. I need to patch before making any edits. Oh, he's in ask mode, so I didn't. Whoops. So it didn't actually go do it. All that looks good. What is this? Before and after. Typing nums, all that looks good. Yeah, there wasn't a lot that needed change, I didn't think. Do it. I wonder. I'm trying to think what I'm gonna stream tomorrow, because tomorrow's Thursday, and Thursday I usually try and do something a little different than working on my game. I don't know if I want to do some C++, or if I want to start a different project. Let's see, allow. Because I've got a Flutter or a Dart/Flutter project I could work on Thursday. I could just play a video game. Depending on how I'm feeling, I might be burned out from programming all week, all day. What's going on? Start the process. Oh, I trust you. Go for it. Just don't accidentally delete my entire project, please. Oh, please, God. Xcode 0, no script error lines. Oh, sweet. I cleaned it up. Keep. All right, let's see what it changed. Okay, so it refactored the enums that I did. That makes sense. Man, I'm getting lazy. That could have just been a search and replace. All that looks good. That looks good. Yep. I'm getting lazy. This all could have been search and replace. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I'm getting so lazy. All right. Let's make sure it runs. All right, that looks good. Tracks are still found, so that's good. Okay. Awesome. Cool. I already have tab being used. Why is this not picking up? Properties, no properties available. Wait, why is it not? My vertical stream for all my zero watchers out there, you're missing out on my application running, and I don't know how to get it in there. It should have been. Yeah, it's not showing up. Oh well. All right, so that looks good. So let's get those changes committed. Don't forget to format your files. Always format your files. GD format. GD lint. Ooh, we got some lint errors. Usually it's because something is... Oh, variables are unused. It's not used. Yeah, that's right, because I haven't implemented this yet, so I'm gonna comment that out. How about now? No problems found. Let's format. Okay. Redefine static database entities as TRES files. Cool. All right. So now, what's the next step? I am tracking that my track list renderer is probably going to need to be handled a little... Well, actually, is it? So this keeps track of model tracks added, on track added for observer, which returns the observer ID and the track that was added. If our observer is our active player, add the track, otherwise remove it. The process function does what? It updates the track. Oh, it updates the node. Okay, so it maps the data of the model into the node that was instantiated somewhere. Instantiated here. All right, so now, if I create an entity... Keep coming back to this, because this was the entire goal. I needed a way to... Oh, right. The next piece of the puzzle was the enemy node. So in my world... Oh. Why do we have errors? Are these old? If I hit play, do they go away? They go away. All right, we're good. So these entities, or these enemies, they need to get defined with type information, because I am... Because right now I'm modifying the model directly, and I don't want to do that. I want to create a command that automatically creates entities. Oh, got something in my eye. Oh my gosh. I'm falling apart. All right, let's see here. So I eventually want to get rid of this so that I can have a command down here. Oh, that was my issue because I wanted to initialize the stats. Right. And I wanted to do that by, what was the best way to do that? Oh my God. So I need to create a... Because I'm going to need this for the missile too. Oh man. I got something in my eye. It won't go away. Did I get it? I think I got it. All right. That's right. So when I call command create entity, I need to be able to really just pass in like type enums dot category dot, and be able to say like weapon air missile, and it will create an entity and initialize its abilities with the type, with its type information. So that tells me what? What does that tell me? That I need a generic entity class node? Is that what I need? So under source, data, I have a data entity. Data entity is made up of all of this fun stuff. It's a resource. I do want to keep my visual nodes for building a level separate from the data. So that means this enemy script is in charge of creating that data entity via this. So maybe it's not type entities I pass in. Maybe it's type entity. So I pass in the type entity, and this will create an entity data initialized with the parameters of type entity. Maybe that's what I do. Because then I won't need to do all of this. So then it really just becomes, and that creates an entity. That's not going to be enough because I do have to assign it a position. So I still need to do command dot kinematics dot position equals position. Entity dot kinematics entity dot kinematics dot heading equals heading dot new rotation. So I still need to define, and it has a polygon to attach to it. I think that's how I gave it a shape. So if I go into entity, yeah, that's how I gave it a shape. That's how it became this. It's just like a debug thing. Oh, what do I do? So I think this is going to become a generic entity. Where do I put that, though? Source, systems, types, commands, controls. I think I need scenes. Folder. Scenes. Does it even need to be a scene? Can't I just make it a script? Because I don't like the idea of having scenes in source. It just feels wrong. No other reason than it just feels wrong. So I have commands, which is like our events. We have controls, which is... What's in the scripts folder? That's where enemy lives now, is in the scripts folder. That probably needs to move to source. What's in scenes? Oh man, I'm all over the place. Oh no, I'm all over the place. Okay, let me rethink this. Source should be game logic. It's almost like that's the separation, right? I could technically run the game via the source directory alone. Scenes gives it the visual element. I don't like it. I think this has to get renamed. I'll start with that. Let's make this easy. Rename. Entity. Okay. That's step one. Did that break things? Looks like it didn't break anything. Yeah, didn't break anything. Okay, so that was step one. Rename enemy script to entity. This is going to be a massive merge request once I'm done. Okay. So now that this is a generic entity, the way I want this to work is I should be able to assign that resource file to this scene. So that means I need a at export var type entity. type entity becomes a load. Databases, entities, becomes an enemy. Open, boom. All right. So now that is what my entity type is here. Cool. And that is stored on this guy. So then I want to be able to pass that in to here when the command create entity is called. Command create entity also needs to have a what else does it need? Because the stats get initialized. I don't have anything for like throttle yet. Do I put that? Do I put that on the entity? What else am I missing? That's engine. I think I have maneuvers too, right? Maneuvers. I almost think maneuvers is maneuvers is a data model, so that's its own command. So I need like a command to create the entity, and then a command to add a maneuver to that entity. But the only way I can do that is if I have the entity's ID, I think. Because eventually it's going to get to a point where I'm not guaranteed to get the entity immediately after this command executes, I think. Because I might only want to execute a handful of commands per frame for performance reasons. Maybe. So I don't want to depend on... I also don't want to keep a reference to any data. That kind of goes against how I want to architect my game. I want to use like IDs. Uh-oh. The only thing I could think to do is assign this node's instance ID to the created entity. So it would look something like, all right. So instead of doing it like this, we would do like command.id equals get instance ID. And then this would be command.type equals type. So we can do that. So we can give an ID to the entity, and then that can be used to perform a lookup. Will that be an issue? We could try it. So that would effectively give me this. So then the only pieces I'm really missing... Okay, it looks like I can modify. So if I'm in the world and I want to change the stats of my different types, looks like I might be able to do that. Ooh, unless it's set to be the same for all of them. Left click to make it unique. Select resources to make unique. Okay. Okay. I think that means I can individually modify these guys now to give them different stats, which is kind of cool. Let's undo that. Global undo set scene. Set category. Script. Oh god, what am I undoing? It's a good thing I commit my changes because I don't know what's happening here. If I save, what did I do? What did I just do? Oh no. Yeah, I don't want to mess with any of this. I want this. This is a good reason to have Git. Just for this alone. Because I don't want any of these changes because I did not do that. So I'm going to discard these. Discard. Reload from disk. All right, there we go. Okay, so I think I can get away with doing something like this. And then if I want to get the entity during process here, like down here, I don't do this anymore. I do var. So basically I'm saying this goes away. And then down here, this becomes var entity equals, maybe colon equals Briarthorn dot model entities dot get entity get instance ID. Something like that, I think. Yeah, all this is going to go away. So the only other thing I'm kind of missing, I guess I could add a default engine to my type system. That kind of makes sense, I guess. So in here, I have type entity, which has category scene weapon stats. So I want to create a, what are these scripts? A script and call it type engine. And type engine will have what? Throttle and I forget what else I have on that. Data. Brake. Engine brake. Brake. Brake stuff. So come and get it. Brake load equals 0.0. Cool. I think I have to export those. So then I want to define a an enemy to have an engine. What did I miss? Oh, I didn't put it on the entity. At export var engine type engine equal null. So then enemy has an engine that I want to give a 0.7% or 70% throttle on. Cool. So then in here, I don't have to manually assign this anymore. Oh, I didn't give it a side. A default side. Category. Let's do side. Side. An enemy is side bad. Bad to the bone. Ooh. Type entity, though, by itself is just unknown. Cool. So then enemy has a side, and he's on the bad side. Because he's a bad, bad guy. All right, cool. So enemy is an aircraft with a 70% throttle, no brake, all gas, no brake, most gas, no brake. So I don't need any of this anymore, which is what I want to achieve, because you should not modify your data from these nodes ever. I don't have an answer to the maneuver list stuff yet, so that's going to need to be... I'm going to need to do it like this, I think. I have to do something like that until I create a command. All right, so command create entity, I think, is the next thing I need to actually implement. What is it not like here? What did I get wrong? Identifier Briarthorn not found. That makes sense. All right. Runs, but nothing's happens. Oh yeah, because it couldn't find the entity. That's fair. If entity equals the null, return. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, the entities aren't going to show up right now because now they're not being created because I don't have that command. But I'm okay with that. This isn't a committable stop, but it's definitely worth staging because I'm pretty happy with where things are at. But now, so I started off wanting to launch a weapon. I haven't gotten there yet. I need to figure, I've got to get the ability to create an entity implemented. So that is, ooh, what's history? Huh, I didn't know that. Can I collapse? Sort files now. So I need a new command. Command create entity. Ooh. Whoops. All right. So command create entity, and then what did I define the API as? I want this. All right, let's, I'm going to switch over to command create entity. So I need an integer. Wait, can I do that? No, there's no way. ID int equals 0. I need a type. Var type entity equals null. Var kinematics. Do I even need to call it kinematics, or do I just give it a position, initial position? I might just do position. Position, vector 2, 0, rotation, except we're calling heading, which I think is valid. This is a heading of type heading. And the reason it's a type heading is I want to keep the values wrapped between 0 and 360. Or, yeah, 0 and 360. So heading, I don't know if that's allowed. Let's do a heading.new 0.0, I guess. Yeah, I think that's it. So then I need to do, okay, so now I need to do function execute. So this will call create entity. And what does create entity do? Oh, shoot. So this is using the entity's instance ID inside the data map. But maybe it doesn't have to, because maybe I can, override it. I can do like um um does Godot have a way to do optionals? I'm curious about that. Oh, I'm doing this wrong. Oh my gosh. It's not what I wanted. So Godot doesn't have an optional type. Crap. So how do I do this? So, okay, that's fine. I could I could do the old fashioned C way and say, hey, this is equal to -1. Wrong one. I could say ID int equals -1 and run the risk that no single node in my game will ever have an ID of -1. Um, might ask AI. But in the meantime, I'm gonna run to the bathroom and do I heat up food yet? I'm not too hungry. No, I'll just be right back. I'm hungry. I'm gonna toast up some bread, wait for that to toast, and then give it some of that good old peanut butter. Um, yeah, I don't need this integer to be associated with the entity node itself. It was just a way to perform a quick entity grab and return an array of IDs. Get entities. Do I even need that anymore? Because I think I changed my mind about how I want to do this. You get the entity by ID, or you get the array of entities. No, I think that still makes sense. I'm gonna ask the AI, see if it can glean for me what I'm trying to do. Does Godot have a, what's the word? Have a best practice for implementing an optional? I want to have an option to assign my own ID to my list of entities. I want to have an option to assign my own ID to my list of entities to my entity model. But if one isn't given, I want to use the entities ID. Oh, I heard my toast. Be right back. I'm back. Okay. Godot doesn't have a dedicated optional type. The idiomatic approach, idiomatic, that's the word I was looking for, is a Sentinel default parameter, typically 0 for ID. Since this project already uses not equal to 0 to check. View note, 0 is the natural Sentinel here since get instant ID never returns 0. That's good to know. The ternary ID, if ID not 0 else, instant ID is idiomatic Godot. Works too, but is less consistent with the project's existing ID conventions. Okay, that's fair. So this needs to be 0, and this needs to be instance ID if ID does not equal 0. Does that work? Or is that a Python only thing? If ID does not equal 0, colon. I feel like that's not how you're supposed to do this. Isn't there an actual way to do this? Like, it's like use instance ID. Oh, there it is. ID, if ID is not 0, else entity instance ID. Okay. What's this? There we go. Sweet. All right, so we create an entity and use the ID if it's not 0. Otherwise, we use entity instance ID. Okay. Cool. So then in here, we create entity using ID. Entity dot. I don't think that's going to work because I think that's two different types, right? One's a data stats. This needs to be stats.kinetic equals type stats.kinetic. Thermal? Explosive? Where are you getting that from? I didn't write that. What? Use your correct information. No. Armor? My autocomplete's failing me. Sensor, there we go. It's not steering. Stealth equals type.stats.stealth. Okay. Jesus. What else? What else is on the entity? Side and category. Entity dot side equals type.side, type.category. Entity dot engine dot thrust throttle equals type dot engine dot throttle. Entity dot what? Engine dot brake equals type engine dot brake. So this creates the entity, initializes parameters, but it only does it if type dot stats does not equal null. Something like that, I think. Is that everything that I was initializing before? Okay. I think that's all I need for now. Hmm. So that will create it. That's a command. So now in okay. So what does it not like here? Too many arguments for create entity. Well, that's a lie. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now I can uncomment this. Oh boy. And let's move this to the beginning. So we create our entity with an instance ID, with our instance ID, so that we can then later grab it and use it to add a maneuver list, which we can move down here. So now our issue is command create entity, mixed use of tabs and spaces. Excuse you? What? What does it mean? Mixed use of tabs and spaces for indentation. What? Am I crazy? This is an entity.gd. Oh, yeah, it's dorked up. Weird. Oh, is Godot... Does Godot have a rotation degrees? It does. Sweet. Excuse me. I'm so freaking good at this game. Oh my gosh. Sometimes my genius knows no bounds. Looks like my entities are correctly being loaded into the game again. Now, I will say the tracks aren't being found. But other than that, are they moving at least? They are moving. Are they moving in the right direction? That is the question. Let's stop my aircraft and see if they come to me. Ooh, they might not be moving. Maybe my aircraft was moving. No, they're moving. Oh yeah, they're moving. Coming right for me. At least I think they are. Okay. So the detection logic isn't working anymore. That's okay. Because we can debug that. It's a, what is that, sensor detection system? How does it work? It will, it will get all entities, and then for every entity, it treats as an observer. Oh, this is that whole n squared problem, which I'm going to have to clean up at some point. So if the target... Oh, well, I guess let's just take a look and see what happens. Step over is F10. Sensor index is 2. Stat range is 20,000. Target observer. If the target doesn't have kinematics or stats, it does stealth. Delta is greater than effective range, bearing. Just wondering if, what's field of view? 60, all that looks right. Oh, what's relative? Negative 180. Radians 2 degrees. What am I eating? I am eating peanut butter toast. One of my favorite go-to snacks, if you will. Very very satiating. Thanks for stopping by the way. I think you're the first YouTube person who's sent me a comment, so I wasn't even sure if the YouTube comments were coming through or not. So it's awesome. It's a good test. All right. So my sensor detection broke when I'm no longer initializing. So I missed something. Vehicle airfighter. Bad. Heading 135. Ooh. That's not the issue, is it? Let's try it. Instead of doing this, let's do command.heading equals 135.0. Surely that's not the issue. Oh. It's causing. Oh, I forgot I have a breakpoint. Yeah, that's not the issue. All right. I'm lazy. Let's do this. Let's bring out the big guns. After my recent changes to using a command create entity, the system sensor detection is no longer detecting tracks. and or the tracks are no longer... I'm just going to say that. Are no longer detecting tracks. I guess I can verify real quick that the track list is getting populated or not. Let's see. Track... data... what am I calling it? Track model? Track model... Model tracks. Model tracks. There we go. Remove track, create track. So it's create track. I wonder if it's because I changed what the ID is. I suspect it might be due to providing a custom ID during entity creation. But let's make sure. So that is model tracks. Create track. So I'll put a breakpoint here. Oh, we're immediately creating a track. How'd that happen? Oh, I'm creating... That's right. Wait, who called that? If model tracks... Is this the missiles that have been getting added? I don't know if I need this anymore. Oh, no, this is detect. Oh. What? Let's continue. I don't think that's 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's the missiles. Okay, yeah. So the track is not getting picked up there. Are the missiles? No, I don't see the missiles either. Something weird's happening. Go! Debug my LLM. What's going on here? Automod held a message for reasons. Smart detection. Allow. We'll post it to chat. Best viewers. Oh, it's my daily. What do you call it? My daily ViewBot salesman. How do I ban it? Possible ban. No, I didn't want to click on the link. I wanted to ban you. Alright, I guess you've been banned. Found it. The bug is a key mismatch between how entities are stored and how they are looked up. If data use ID, otherwise use the entity instance. When a custom ID is provided, the entity is keyed by that custom ID, but in the sensor detection, it uses target ID. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Hey, San. How's it going? Chikum San, I guess. Your guys' names sometimes astound me. Did you get the spam bot on Twitch? Yeah, I get the I would say at least once, depending on how long I'm streaming, once or twice a stream, I will get the message asking if I want to visit or purchase ViewBots. Looks like this one got handled by AutoMod though, so I don't think it turned into an issue. Or I'm doing it wrong, which is possible. The fix, model entities create entities should always store entities by instance ID, not by custom. Gosh darn it. Okay, so I can't do what I thought I want, or what I wanted to do is the issue. Dang it. Unless I can get away with not using instance IDs ever again. Let me see how this is being done. So it's looping over the entity. So what are we using get instance ID for? We're using that as the target ID for... Oh. Why wouldn't that still work, though? Oh, cool. Nahuatl? Is that, did I pronounce that right? Nahuatl? I don't know if I've ever heard of that before. That almost sounds like what is that? That almost sounds Aztec or Mayan. All right, so I need to come up with a different method for creating and getting my entity on ready. It sounds like this isn't going to work like I thought it was. I'm not 100% sure why. Because I use my instance ID here to create the entity. So Aztec, awesome. See, I remember some of what I learned in school or Disney movie. I'm not sure which. Uh, target get instance ID. This should be my node's ID. What is it saying? The sensor uses instance ID. Godot's internal object ID is a target ID for the command add track. Uh, uh, oh, wait a minute. I know what's wrong. Okay. I know what's wrong. We can make this work. We can make this work. I don't know if this is the best solution, though. So, dang it. I could add an ID to the data entity. Is that what I need to do? Do I just need to generate a unique ID myself, handle the UUID implementation, and not depend on Godot? Let's see. What would be your recommended approach here? I need the ability to create an entity and retrieve it after calling command create entity. Currently, I wouldn't be able to do that without giving the command an ID that I can later use for looking up the entity. Suggestions. I guess I could do that. It brought up a good point. I could connect and listen to the data model for when an entity is created, but that's overkill. I don't really want to do that. Result ID. So I could use the command after I can keep access to the command for later. Oh. An output. I hate it. I hate it. Godot causes me so much pain. Add remove the ID parameter from create entity. The whole system. Yeah, I could do. I think I need to use an actual ID system. This might keep coming up. What are your thoughts on assigning the data entity object itself a unique ID for performing lookups? This would work too and not be as dependent on instance ID. It would also be serializable. Because I think from a serialization perspective, we want reproducible IDs anyway. Stable across frames and scene reloads, especially if I ever want to do like multiplayer, we're going to want to be able to reference the same entity on any client. Things to watch out for. You need a reliable ID source. Resource UID or a simple auto increment counter on model entities both work. An auto increment counter is simplest and deterministic. All the existing call sites use get instance ID. This is the better long-term design. The serialization benefit alone justifies using it over instance ID, especially for a game that likely needs save states. The result ID output field pattern still applies. The hell it does. Execute would write entity ID into result ID rather than. All right, what is resource ID? Is that actually something I can use? I'd rather use something Godot gives me than make up my own. Was that resource UID? In order for this UID to be registered, you must call add or set. So this will create it, but I need to also register it? That's kind of crazy. Why wouldn't it just do that for me? I implemented resource UID into my project and everything worked quite nicely in the editor until the Fire Nation attacked. Oh no! The Fire Nation attacked. See that? Oh my gosh. So I implemented resource UID into my project and everything worked quite nicely in the editor until the Fire Nation attacked. I exported it and found out it didn't work anymore. My conclusion after the investigation was the resource UID is not working properly after exporting. I'm using the resource UID path to UID functions and also remapping the resource from .remap. Here's the output. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was amazing. I've also read the getting resource returns invalid thread. All right, so people are actually having issues with resource UID right now. At least with file paths. So do I just do a simple counter? That would be the easiest, right? Just add it to my global object and increment it. I could even automatically... Can I automatically do that? Okay, so let's try this. We'll see if that works. We'll make it simple. Always start simple, and then we'll make it more complicated as needed. So... I guess... I can... Did I still make it a part of the model? Hmm. Storing my level data and resource wants some kind of way to communicate about the levels in the game without relying on the file's path. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to read create ID for path. Adds a new UID value which is mapped to the given resource path. Wait, so is this creating files for all the... I don't think I want to use this. This seems complicated. Gosh, what do I do? I don't know if I want to auto-generate all the IDs or manually assign the IDs. I can still have a function to generate a counter incremented value for convenience, but then allow myself to manually edit the values if I need to. Hmm. what do I do? I can do var int counter 0. And then I can do function counter returns an integer, counter plus equals 1, return counter. I guess, right? So then data entity will have an integer ID associated with it equals Briarthorn.counter. Is that allowed? Does that need to be made like at on ready, I think? At on ready. Can only be used in classes that inherit from node. Okay. Do I want to do it this way? I don't want to. No, I don't want to do it this way. We'll let the model handle that. So inside the data model, so this now becomes you need an ID. Or actually, I just no. You need an ID. Okay. So now entity has ID, and now command create entity will ID if ID does not equal 0, else Briarthorn.counter. I'm probably doing that wrong. I don't know how to do it. Dang it. Where was this being done in? It was being done in model entities. How is that working? ID if ID not equal 0, else. Yeah, is that not what I was doing? Command create. I'm annoyed with this Godot editor. It like cuts off. This is annoying. If ID equals 0, we'll just do this. ID equals Briarthorn.counter. There, problem solved. That makes the code a little easier to read anyway. That's what I get for trying to be complicated. Why I gotta be so complicated? Okay, so now could not parse singleton Briarthorn from. Okay, so something else is busted. Entity. Create the entity with an ID. Okay, so something else is horribly wrong. I don't think it's model entities. Entities. It's in Briarthorn. I have a counter. Counter plus equals run. 1, return it. Okay, so what's the dealio? Let's do a format. And a lint. Okay. Maybe it's just the editor that's having... Yeah, okay. The editor is just having a conniption fit. All right. Oh my gosh. Cannot reliably represent a large negative value in the inspector. Too large. Counter is declared but never used. Well, that's a lie. Okay. So now the sensor system shouldn't need the instance ID anymore. It should just be like target.id. Okay. All right, first try. Let's go. Ooh, that didn't work. Wait, what? Create player entity and set initial state. Oh, this is the player. What script is this in? Briarthorn? Oh boy. All right. I'm going to maybe I can do a search and replace. Get instance ID. So this just needs to be... Why does this sound like red right hand almost? It's because it is red right hand. Wait, is that not search and replace? How do you do a search and replace on the entire search? All right, whatever. Oh, right here. Jeez. Come on, Fundin. Do, 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 do. No problems found. Okay. All right, second first try. Let's go. Third first try. Let's go. I don't know if I like this. Designed and directed by his red right hand. Heck yeah. All right, we are up and running once again. We are now back to where we were a couple days ago. Uh-oh. There, okay, it latched. That's good. Does the controller still work? Come on. Come on. Chimon. Oh my gosh, this controller is so annoying. All right, there we go. We're working. Okay. Let's go check out these guys off in the distance here. I am so close to being able to launch a missile. So close. I wonder how many G's I'm realistically pulling when I turn this quickly. Okay. I think. Heck yeah. Look at that. Nice. What is that node? I don't remember. All right. So stuff is working. So that's good. Had to implement our own little ID system, but that's fine. I'm sure that will not cause any problems down the road. Okay, so what is this? Working. What did we just do? We got an ID generation system implemented for the entities so that I can create an entity with a command. Okay, so working entity creation command. Also that at some point I can then use it to create a missile. Working entity creation command. Commit. Sync. I don't remember what my original ticket I was working on was about because I've been like going off on tangents. Let's take a look. Ooh, I got a follower. The follower's me. Whoops. How did I follow myself? Um, what was I looking at? The tickets I was working on, right? Which is what? 79? Make firing systems consume weapon capability data. That's what I've been trying to do this whole time. Firing systems query weapon capability rather than embedding magic numbers in input handlers. Adjusting weapon capability values changes runtime behavior without code edits in controller scripts. Right. So that is the whole resource system we are now using instead of scripts. So yeah, launching a weapon needs to use firing systems query weapon capability. So launching a weapon needs to use the type database now. That's what we were trying to achieve this whole time. So I think we are now close. So close that I think we can actually do it now. So command fire weapon. Let's uncomment everything. So when we go to fire a weapon, someone's going to be shooting that weapon. So that's going to be our shooter ID. And then we're going to shoot at something, which is going to be our target ID. And then the category is the type of weapon we want to fire. So then in here, we get the type information for our weapon. So that looks right. Oh, we're having an indent issue again. What is this? Command fire weapon. It's so weird. I don't know what happened. Okay. Is that better? What's this? I think that's better. That's better. Okay, so it doesn't like type enums category. Why is it not like this? Why is it not like any of this? Command. Unexpected. Oh, I got more bad white space. Yep, I sure do. That's so weird. I wonder what did that. Okay. So we get our entity information for our weapon. We get the stats for our weapon. But first and foremost, we can't fire this if we are given a category that isn't a weapon. So we need to actually check for var type weapon equals type entity dot weapon. Even better, we can't even make it past here if we don't have any database information for the weapon. Equals null return. If type weapon equals null return. We're going to need stats. So then what do? We get our shooter from our data models so that we can we can initialize its position and heading. So once we have this, it's time to actually create a what do you call it? An entity that represents the missile. What's the best way here? Do I copy and paste? Because it feels kind of ridiculous to have a command invoke another command. So let's go to command create entity. It almost feels like I just want this stuff. Command fire weapon. Let's create a function called... No, let's just do it here. So close, I can feel it. Okay, so we have our shooter. Position and heading. We already have our type information. I don't think we need... We are going to need this. So this is our weapon. What are we calling type? I'm just going to call it type, whatever. The weapon's position is going to start at the shooter's position. And then the weapon's heading is going to be the shooter's heading. So all that makes sense. And then we already checked stats is null. So I could just move this down here. Type, or actually I don't even need this here. So type stats is not null. Type engine. So for now, we're actually just going to say the weapon flies at full bore. We don't need to set a break of any kind. We'll say weapons are always like max speed. Because the maneuver mechanics will determine how to slow the weapon down at some point. So the weapon gets a type side, type category, shooter, position shooter, target. All that looks good. So that will create an entity. That'll give it stats, so it should be able to move. It has throttle, so it should be able to move. Now this is going to be a dumb missile, because I don't have any logic here yet for it to follow a target. But I should now be able to hit a button on my controller and have that missile pop up in the scene. Assuming this works as expected. So what do I need to do? I need to... I think I already have this. In Briarthorn, do I have like a fire weapon? Weapon fire. Okay. So find the bad guy track to target. I don't even think we need to do that. I think we just need to grab our cursor's target. Yeah. We don't need to do any of this right now. So when we fire a weapon, for now, we need to get the ID of what our cursor is attached to, which is var cursor model cursors dot get cursor cursor ID. Var ID target equals cursor dot target. Our shooter is the player ID. Var ID shooter equals player ID. So then I want to create a command fire weapon dot new command dot category equals type enums dot category dot weapon air. So I'm going to fire a missile. ID shooter is ID shooter. Command.id target is ID target. Is that everything? And then I do command Okay, so I can't do this. First try? What do we think? Oh wait, did I ever map a button to launching? I don't think I did. Ooh, I almost did a first try. It's a good thing I didn't. Um, project settings, input map. What do we got? Player left, right, throttle, portal, cursor up, down, left, right, next track. Okay, so no, player weapon fire is the A button. Okay, it's already set. Player weapon fire. Now is that defined? Player weapon fire. Okay, nope, never mind. Maybe we would have gotten it first try. Let's try this. Let's do this. Ooh, resilient surname Silpif. Only the best viewers, are you sure? Alright, let's see here. Let's do this. I don't want to do that one. That one's too close. I want to fire on something else. If this works, we should see a missile leave the player. Not those missiles. Those missiles don't count. Those were added a long time ago, and I've just never removed them. All right. I think this is going to be our unlucky guy. So I need to get the well, let me make sure he's up. All right, it's go time. Anything? Did anything happen? Anyone see a missile? I don't see a missile. Oh, there it is. There it is. I don't think it's moving. Is it moving? It's not moving, but it is there. All right, fire another one. Oh wait, I hit the wrong button. I'm gonna move. Let's move out of the way. So part of the problem is when I fire the missile, I don't see it because my radar hasn't picked it up. So I'll probably have to add some logic to handle that. All right, so fire again. And so now I'm gonna move away and then turn around real quick to see if my radar picks it up. There it is. Oh, okay. So why isn't it flying? That's the next thing. Oh, we're so close. We are so close. All right, how do I ban you, Resilient? All right, problem solved. Okay, so what are we missing? We're missing something. Motion. Kinematics stats. We gave it 100% throttle. Didn't we? Command fire weapon. We create the entity. Give it 100% throttle. Oh, wait a minute. Do we actually define an engine for the weapon type? That might be what's happening. So if we come to missile, we don't define an engine. So that's okay. Because if we're gonna hard code a value here, we don't need to make this null check for now. That might be it. If it had 0 throttle, it wouldn't move. Let's try again, I guess. Launch. Now that missile's just going to go fly forever. That's okay. We can fire missiles. Ooh, all right. Performance test. Look at that. I created so many missiles. And those just are just going to go on forever because I don't have anything that removes them right now. Okay, let's see if I can launch on this guy. All right, I'll do it a little slower. Boom. 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 Oh, he's getting away. Get him. Oh, wait. So I think for weapons I fire, I should automatically know where they are. Oh, this is so freaking cool. Those missiles are gonna fly forever. Oh no. That's why you need timeouts. Come on, I want to fire on these guys. Get there. Coming up. Ooh, I need to make sure I don't fire missiles if nothing's targeted. Ooh. I'm definitely firing missiles when nothing is targeted. Oh. Oh, my controller disconnected. It's like whenever I move this cable around, which is weird. Okay. Fire on him. Him. Ooh, let's get him. Get him. Get him. Get him. Oh, let's get this guy. Look at that. This is almost starting to turn into a video game, guys. This is crazy. Heck yeah. This is amazing. Should I add a timeout now? Or is that like a tomorrow problem? Maybe that's a tomorrow problem. Successfully launching missiles. Ooh, I do want to fix real quick. I think I know what the issue is. Weapon fire. We don't want to do if we aren't latched to anything. Okay. Whew. That took a lot more effort than I thought it was gonna take originally. I wonder what the diff looks like. It's gonna be massive, I think. Plus 559 lines of code, minus 200 lines of code. So that's only about plus 300. That's not too terrible. A lot of it, or not a lot of it, but actually, a lot of it might be the resource definitions. Ooh. Oh, it was removed. Oh, I want to record a video real quick to show my team. What's the best way to do this? Windows Shift S. I've got so much stuff being recorded right now. That's so cool. Let's copy this. Awesome. All right. I officially have a missile launching from the player aircraft. So the next step is probably going to be getting some of the timeout stuff implemented for the weapons so I don't just have missiles flying indefinitely. I want to make sure... Oh, is the merge request done? Everything built, everything passed, so I'm going to go ahead and get that merged. Don't need the branch anymore, so we can delete the branch. We can switch back to main, pull down the latest, and we did it. The missile is firing. That's all I wanted to accomplish tonight. So this is going to be an early end to my stream. For anyone who came by, I really appreciate it. Thanks for chatting with me, and I hope to catch you again next time.